So I will introduce myself like this, to say that right now I am working for myself. Took me 20 years to achieve that. I've been wanting to do that. I looked at Boba Vedlamini and how they started, and I feel that, yeah, maybe I was possibly a coward in business. And I'm talking to business people today. I think there's a conversation we're trying to have. So for me, it's been a journey. I've been trying to be an entrepreneur for many years. The biggest disturbance has been employment. So that whenever things were becoming tough in business, because they will, always will. So my get out plan was, I've studied so I can get another job. So it was easy for me just, when I start something and then I feel it's becoming difficult, then I jump back to work. So that's why I'm saying it took me 20 years to be where I am today. But at the time I did media, I was looking at media in the space of agriculture, because also I had become interested in agriculture. So I did this magazine at some point. I spent my time mainly working for the UN, worked for various organizations. Up until December last year, I was working the Secretariat of the UN. So now I'm full-time trying this game again. Now, what I want to share for us, I think it's something that I discovered to be an important thing, that we need to take the transformation seriously as business people. And it's a lesson for me. I'm not there yet. There's a lot to learn, I can tell you. I think for me, almost on a daily basis, I'm trying to learn something new. And I will encourage you to do the same, because my presentation today is automate or die, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, we can have a discussion around that. There are people who still believe that, nah, maybe this is something that will go away. We'll continue doing business as we do. And I think I hear the conversation about ERS. In this country, we have a challenge of entrepreneurs who do not want to be known that they are entrepreneurs. And that confuses the young people, because they have fewer people to look up to, because we're afraid that when we make ourselves known, then ARS will come. When ARS should come, because we are in the business of making money. So I think for me, the mindset has been changing. Like I say, it's been 20 years of doing this, and I believe now I'm doing it differently. And one of the lessons I've learned is the importance of compliance. So I think the setting is good. It's good for many reasons. But yeah, I'm talking today mainly about AI. And I think for purposes of this presentation, I want to gauge, just by a show of hands, some of us who are in business, how many are using AI for business? At least just by show of hands. That's very impressive. I'm happy. Can I have a show of those who are using it on a daily basis? Right. Not many hands now. On a weekly basis. Okay. All right. Sure. The world is changing. I think at this stage we are saying over 80% of companies already are using AI, or this thing is dying. And many of the people who are using AI now are also SMEs. But the figures will intrigue you. The businesses globally, the interest is that at 80%. And those who are using AI are showing growth in terms of revenue. So this is not really something that we can take lightly. It's helping businesses to grow. It's also helping businesses to reduce costs, because of automation. Why is your computer focuses on some of the tasks that you do, tedious tasks. Some of us do tedious tasks like editing. I was discussing with my colleague, because we're also in media production. You can do a podcast after recording, then you can edit the entire podcast in 10 minutes or less through AI now. This is a tedious, because I've been involved in editing as well. It can take a whole weekend just trying to come up with a good product. But now you can do it in 10 minutes. That changes the game, doesn't it? So you reduce cost. So why now? Why do we have to think AI now? For me, of course, it's competitiveness. It's been said, I think many people have argued that, is AI going to replace us? And the counter argument from many who are using it is that maybe not, but the people who are using it might replace you. So what does that mean? For me, it means that if you don't have the skills and somebody else has the skill for using AI, they're likely to replace you. So it's an advantage to say we're not talking machine, we're talking people. So it means that we need to upscale so that we stay ahead of others. So the competition is there. Who has AI skills, basically? If you don't, then you are likely not to compete with me in an interview or whatever that I'm doing. Of course, we've talked about efficiency. AI is not always 100% correct. And that is important, because people think that you can do things. And this is a huge argument in education now, because students use AI to submit assignments, and the teachers can see that. This is when the students don't apply themselves. They just put things on ChatGPT and then they submit. And the teachers say, but this is AI. Why should I give you a mark for this? So yeah, it's a whole huge debate. I'm not sure how it's going to be resolved. But for me, what I'm looking at now is that actually the education that we are given, or even the whole system of education, was meant to make people work for someone else. Was not made to make people think. So the whole system doesn't allow for thinkers. So the education, in the way that it's structured, is like you feed and you then give out what you've been given. So you don't even analyze in such a way that you could also bring yourself into it. So now that space has been taken by AI. So how are you going to evaluate me now if that can be done by a machine? So it means we have to look for different type of skills from people when we evaluate them. But I didn't want to talk about education, because that's not what I'm here about. The good thing about AI is that, like I said, I'm not tech. It's easy to learn. And I'm happy Baba Slomos is here. I think he can agree with me that for tech people, this is a big threat, because when I sit with tech people, one of them is in my office, and I say, can we do this? He said, no, we have to code. But I said, but there's a tool that can make it quicker than your coding. So now what it challenges people who are tech, because they value what they have learned. I also would be offended, because now ChatGPT can do. I grew up knowing that I can write. In fact, my bosses used to say, "Oh, you write very well." Now ChatGPT has done wonderful work in replacing me there. So I cannot even boast about writing very well, because I can't compete with the machine. So it's the same thing with tech, that things are becoming easier for everyone. The only thing that we need to learn now is basically to not be scared. That's the basic thing that we need to learn. Most people are scared of AI, and that's why they're not learning. The good thing is that the learning is on YouTube, most of it. Okay, there are other places, but I think if you go on YouTube, there's a lot of people that will explain you. This is a step-by-step thing that anyone can learn. So it's easy, it's accessible. If there's money, it's very, it's quite cheap, basically. That's the point. Globally, the issue is that SMEs are not catching up that much. I think they're saying 25% globally, which I believe then it means we are widening the gap between big businesses and small business. So I think for me, this is where I am, because I think this forum in particular speaks to people like me who need to catch up and compete with big businesses. So if I'm not using AI, I'm widening the gap, because the big businesses are already there. Many businesses already are planning to do this, even if they are not, but they are already planning to do it. By next year, almost 80% businesses and small business will be looking at how AI is impacting on their operations. So AI is here, and I'm happy to engage for those who think it's not. I'm saying this deliberately because I know I'm in a group of PR practitioners where we have this argument. The other day, I think the government was talking about AI in the health sector, and someone was saying, because now my colleagues think that I'm obsessed by AI, and they say, "Hey, Mngadi, you see this thing? Then for you, are we ready for it? If it's coming to tell me how I should take my medication, Aswas is ready." And my response was, ready or not, it's here. We just have to learn. We have no choice. Now, AI for marketing, content creation, I've spoken about that. Chatbots, how you engage with your customers, so important, because most of the time you could be here, but people could be accessing your website. You could set it up in such a way that it responds to basic information that they need from your business, and you can actually get a notification if there is a need to escalate to you. But most of the time, I see, even myself, when I look for services, I know when I'm talking to a machine, but I respond because I need the service. When it asks me about me, and I know that definitely it's not a person on the other side, but I have to supply the information they need. It's becoming common. We have to accept it, sorry. It's also good in helping you know your customer. The issue of whole personalization, and many people have spoken about this, that actually AI can see us as we consume, and the business people can now plan for us because they actually have used the data to say, Mngadi likes Arsenal. So every time I open my phone, Arsenal pops up, and even if I'm looking for United at times, but the AI is in such a way that they've studied me. They already know my choices. So it's good, as far as I know. We won't go here, but it was going to be so interesting to do this. This tool here, and I wanted this presentation to be about tools that I can share, and these are tools that I am using as a businessman, that I think if I can share, then others can also look into and also use. There's plenty of tools for each segment. There are various tools. It's a pick and choose. Some are paid for, some are free. So I think that's the issue, that you have to choose carefully. At times you have to ask the AI itself, I am here, I want to make a choice about which tool I want to use. What's your advice? The ChatGPT sometimes can give you the choices, use A, B, C, and D. Then you go YouTube, you check for yourself which one you're comfortable with. So this one called Durable AI for website generation. you can actually, I was going to ask one entrepreneur here just to give us their business profile, not necessarily business profile, just to tell us what they do and who could produce a website. Do you want us to do that? No, there's no time. Okay. So you can do a website in 30 seconds. This durable tool can do that. This presentation was done in Gamma AI, which is also good. You feed it the information, so you don't go slide by slide, say, okay, I need to put a picture here, I need to put a picture here. So you get, if I, for instance, I see this presentation, the styling, and I don't like it, I just go to the same slide and say, can we change the style to something else? And it changes the style. It puts one picture, make it minimal or make it more graphic. So this is how you communicate with the AI. You don't do the thing yourself. You just tell the thing to do it for you. Anyway, I think for productivity, the tools I want to mention, and I think if you can look at the highlighted ones, there are those that we can use for task management. I think project management, Asana I've used, I think it's good for teams, especially small teams. There's also, I think many people may be exposed, I think in the UN we were using Trello for managing teams, and Asana also does the same thing. So these are things that keep you online in terms of what everyone else in the organization is doing and what has been done and what needs to be done. And when it's done, you all know, so you're all in the same picture. So the tools are there for email and how you compose faster and make things easier for you. We have Gmail. I think Gmail is actually improved. You go to settings and you look at the settings there. We can have another session to do these things practically. But Gmail has improved. You don't do much composing. It does right for you if you've set it up nicely. Jasper as well, it does the same thing. It even, when you're doing a website, when you have products, so you don't have to write the description of your product one by one. You possibly have the name of the product and you ask for a description and you get it for each one. You just possibly edit. Customer management, this one I like, it's called HubSpot. Please check it out. It's also good. It integrates with many of the things that actually can integrate with WordPress for those who use WordPress websites. So you can actually have your HubSpot integrated in your website so that it's seamless and with your chatbots and all that. So I will have more time for practical things. Automation, workflow automation, Zapier. This automation really is about making sure that you have different tools and platforms that work together. Gmail can work, for instance, with MailChimp and others. So that when you get a registration for this meeting, the system then responds to you. It doesn't have to be Zox. The system responds and accepts your registration and tells you what to do. If you need to get a link or whatever credentials that you may need, it gives you. So those are the tools that we can use that can make our life easier. For us in business, of course, there's finance and bookkeeping. Many of the tools that we see, you might know. Xero, QuickBooks, FreshBooks, you know this. For invoicing, Zoho, Sage, Wave. Okay, some of them you have to check what is applicable to Eswatini, because also these tools can only be applicable overseas. Mainly they're made for the US and Canada and Europe and many times. So I think the message is that there's a lot of tools to help us as business people. Let's take time to find them out and learn about how to use them or integrate them in our businesses. This one we skip. These are just examples of some other countries, how they've actually moved. In Kenya, agro-businesses use AI to predict weather and crop yields. In Nigeria, retail saw 20% sales increase with their AI inventory management. In South Africa, boutique hotel boosted revenue with AI-based pricing tools. So just sharing examples of others that have actually succeeded in the space. So what can we do about all this that we are hearing about today? For me, it's a question of how you start. And I think I've heard presentations before, questions after presentations like this, where people say, which tool should I use? It's a broad question. And I think for me, the magic is in starting small. These are tools. That means that it's a skill. So we cannot do all of them at once. So it means if you give yourself a month to learn one, it's actually better. And then you move to the other one bit by bit. You look at your needs and say, okay, let's automate this. For Margaret Damini here, you're doing events. So you say, okay, you start from the registration, then what happens? So how can we automate that whole system? So you look at those. You learn the basics and you make a plan. One of the plans that we've made, for instance, for my team, is that we're dedicating at least one day in a week for each one of us to do a presentation on a particular tool that they found that they think that we can use in the business. So on a weekly basis, we learn something new, and the team is involved. We're all learning together. So I wasn't even actually looking at the time, but is it okay to stop here? I think I will. Yeah. I'm mindful that there's a lot of speakers coming, so let me leave it here. Thank you so much.